Hi everyone, I'm Tiffany Harelik. My YouTube platform offers astrology training for spiritual development students. So if you are new here, welcome. If you are old here, welcome back. Please subscribe and like the video. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. I really appreciate your support if this material speaks to you. So I'm going to talk today about the September 2024 astrology forecast. And normally I like to get into the nitty gritty and go into it transit by transit and every little thing because I have a Virgo midheaven. I'm still going to go in order linearly, but I'm only going to pick out the 6 or 8 things that I really think you should be focused on for the month of September. And for those of you who are granular like me and want all of the details and a list, please check out the blog. I will leave a link for you so that it's easy to find. First of all, September is an 8 month and an 8 year. I always call these double rainbow moments. So the numerology always matches up with the astrology, and I find it really fascinating. What I see people doing in an 8 month or in an 8 year is making big changes, being really bold, rolling the dice, doing big things, moving to foreign countries, buying their first house, right? Like doing these big, huge moves. So and be aware that sometimes our energy can be really activated and that can make us feel nervous even when we're doing something good. So the 8, right, it's the infinity symbol. So what goes up must come down and vice versa. What goes down must come up. So it can be a little bit roller coastery feeling. So if your nervous system is feeling roller coastery, go back to your toolbox and try to, regulate. But hey, if this is a month where you need to go big or go home, go big. It's an 8 month and an 8 year. And I did see a rainbow yesterday. So very cool entrance into that double rainbow energy. The 8 also represents the infinity symbol, right? So that connection that we have here on earth to the physical world, to the metaphysical, to the spiritual world. So, first of all, in September, the very first day of the month, we've got Uranus going retrograde into Taurus and Pluto already retrograde backing up into Capricorn, which is going to be part of the election story for the United States of America. So, I want to talk about these two things as some of our interesting, really interesting things to focus on in September. And it's happening on the first day of the month. I always like to the first day seems to be like an anchor, kind of like the new moon is an anchor. So is the first day. It sets the tone for the rest of the month in a way. So Uranus, if we think about Uranus going retrograde in Taurus, anytime one of the outer planets appears retrograde or direct, or stations retrograde or direct, um, the energy usually slows down. It feels like we have either less energy or we feel a little bit more unplugged. And so I wouldn't mark September 1st as the day to like knock everything out of your list. I would just pay attention to your body. Uranus is in Taurus, representing our physical body, our strength, right? How we enjoy our physical senses in this world. And our sense of material gain, our sense of okayness around our own possessions. And so this could be a time when you're going through your things or having a really hearty home cooked meal or doing some weightlifting. But the idea is, even though those are energizing activities, maybe this is going to be a day when you're noticing, the energy being a little bit slower. So Uranus in Taurus, right? I would also say enjoy these last moments of your Uranus in Taurus themes because Uranus will be moving into Gemini in 2025. And we're already seeing whispers of that. If you think about Uranus being innovation, technology, space travel, robotics, inventions, brilliant moments, it's the great awakener, right? It brings shock and awe. That's Uranus. It's been in Taurus, the land, our physical bodies. I overcame some spasms when Uranus was in Taurus for 2.5 years. It was a really long time, but you can see that Uranus spasms in Taurus, the physical body. It plays out differently for everyone, right? It's really interesting. But as it moves into Gemini, where there's a theme on socialization, communication, talking things through, learning things, sharing information, Gemini rules many, many other things, but what I saw was an ad for like is it spaceship travel? I don't know, forgive my ignorance. But it's, you can basically get from Texas to Spain in 34 minutes instead of the days that it takes to get there, right? So don't quote me on that because that's not the right stat. But the point is that you can get somewhere overseas very, very quickly, right? And very interesting. So that's, to me, that's very Uranus and Gemini. It's whispers of what can happen ahead of when we get there next year. So Uranus retrogrades in Taurus on September 1st, and then Pluto backs up. It's already retrograde in Aquarius. It's backing up into Capricorn. Okay, so this is going to be part of the election story for the United States. So let me give you some dates here. So Pluto was in Capricorn from 2028 until, excuse me, 2008. I'm so sorry, 2008 until 2023 when Pluto entered Aquarius. So, this period, right? Like you think of, even though Capricorn is a feminine sign, it represents the government. It represents, for many people, a patriarchal society, and Pluto represents that wrecking ball that needs to change, that needs to break things down, that needs to get back to the basics and rebuild. Pluto goes underground. It rules gold and subconscious and things in the darkness, right? It rules Scorpio. And so this idea that Pluto, this energy ball of change, right, was going through Capricorn, the governmental systems, makes a lot of sense that we would have had a lot of upheaval. There's a lot of discussion around politics, right? So Pluto moved into Aquarius in March of 2023 and started a retrograde cycle just a few months later. So then it backed up into Capricorn. It went direct and in Capricorn. So then it came into Aquarius, right? Once again, it's retrograde in Aquarius and backing up into Capricorn. So right now, this is its final visit into Capricorn, September 1st through November 19th of 2024. So during this really interesting time in history where politics are changing and so rapidly, right? So with so much fascination and so much discourse and so much weight around it, right? We have this last little time with Pluto and Capricorn in our lifetimes, anyways. So you want to think about Pluto in Aquarius because that's where it will be, right? After November 19th. Pluto in Aquarius was last there, 1777 through 1797. And so this is the Enlightenment period in Russia. This is the Enlightenment, the French Revolution, the Industrial Revolution. This is when we had artists like Mozart and Haydn and Beethoven. There was revolution in the United States. The Constitution was established during this time with Pluto and Aquarius, and also the Bill of Rights. So, interesting time in United States history. Okay, I could go on about that, but we'll save that for a separate video. I want to give you your next nugget for September. September 2nd, there is a new moon in 11 degrees of Virgo. So, Virgo, health, routine, organization, new moon, a time to set your intentions, a time to change habits. This is such a great moon for you to change habits in your routine as it reflects on your health, right? These are things like water purification system, growing your own food, knowing what is going into your food, right? I could go buy a can of beans at the store, but I'd rather can my own beans because I know exactly what I'm putting into it, and it's food that I grew from this earth that I live on, which has the nutrients that inform these cells right here. So this hyper local focus back on food, that's Virgo stuff, right? Virgo rules are bees. So having bees, if you guys want beekeeping lessons, let me know. But this idea here that it's so important to change these habits now because you're going to see soon enough that we're going to have an eclipse in Pisces later this month. And then 3 on that axis, how do you, not its axis, in Virgo Pisces in 2025. So health is absolutely going to be a theme. It always is, but oh my gosh, the statistics, right? I was listening to a podcast last night where Callie and Casey Means were being interviewed, and they had some really shocking statistics about healthcare, and not only healthcare, but the health of our children in the United States. And so, they are Stanford and Harvard educated people, really interesting to look up their research and their work and what they're doing. But oh my gosh, like, I think that this topic is not going to go away anytime soon. So take care of your health. This new moon, the Sabian symbol is a bride with her veil snatched away. So I don't know, like who's doing the snatching? Is it the bridesmaid? Is it her? Is it the groom? Is it the priest? I don't know. But her veil is snatched away, y'all. It got snatched. So I this was an interesting Sabian symbol to notice because you know what fixed star is going to be activated in 2025 is 1 degree of Aries. It's fixed star Curb, Kerb, and it represents a jilted lover. So a jilted lover is somebody that has been betrayed or abandoned. They're shocked, they can't believe they got left. And so this doesn't mean that you are going to get abandoned or your veil is going to be snatched away. But the idea here is that there is some healing for the collective consciousness, Pluto and Aquarius, right? Digging stuff up for healing for the masses around the idea of being jilted, of being abandoned, of being betrayed. And so, where have you abandoned yourself, right? That's the thing to get to the core of. And wouldn't it be interesting if we could all figure that little piece out of the puzzle? So, something to really consider. The new moon always kicks off a new 2.5 year cycle, right? So the new moon, 11 degrees of Virgos, sets your intentions. 9 months later, there will be a first quarter moon in 12 degrees of Virgo. And this is June 3rd of 2025. So what's brewing now? You're actually going to be more ready to take action around your health stuff next June, right? Which is a huge, huge monumental month in 2025. Mark your calendars for June 2025. We can talk about it if you want. Um, 9 months later, there will be a full moon in 12 degrees of Virgo. So that's when you are seeing more. More information is being given to you. There's the light of the full moon. You're ready to pause, pray, and pivot. And then by the fourth little nugget of this new moon cycle, it's December 1st of 2026. So 9 months later, the last quarter moon will be in 9 degrees of Virgo, and this 2.5 year cycle will have a sense of closure and completion. Maybe you're just starting a gym routine that's a couple years of your life. It's just a season. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you're working out some recipes. I don't know what you're doing, but it's something awesome. It's going to be great. Activate, work with this new moon in Virgo. Do something for yourself, for your health, and your future self thanks you. So this is hard for me, but I'm going to skip to the next kind of interesting thing. Mars is going to square Neptune right before entering Cancer. This is another piece of the puzzle for the United States election. So Mars squaring Neptune on September 3rd, 4th, depending on your time zone, right? Mars and Neptune, that's that urgency to get away, to escape. And so a lot of people escape through drugs and alcohol. A lot of people escape by taking a quick trip somewhere. A lot of people escape by watching movies. A lot of people escape by taking a nice hot salt bath, you don't you don't have to do any of those things to work with the astrology, but what you should be aware of is that it's a challenge, right? It is challenging energy. Mars wants to go forward, Neptune wants to dissipate and blend, and they are at odds. This energy is at odds with each other as Mars enters Cancer, which it really didn't want to be there anyway, right? Mars does not like being in Cancer. Mars is aggressive, to the point, focused, piercing, penetrating, primal, raw energy. And Cancer is the home, and the sweetness, the mothering energy, the protection, the caring, the people in hospitality, people in nursing, people in food resources. This is an emotionally intelligent a sign of Cancer, right? Where we're almost in Cancer, it's like more intuitive for other people than for themselves sometimes, like this ability to really see for other people. So Mars in Cancer brings out some passive aggressiveness on the challenging side, but on the positive side, it could be that you are doing different things to protect your home. It could be that you're installing some technology to see who's coming and going. The cameras, right? Like I don't want to throw out any brands. I'm not repping any brands, but there could be some changes that you're making to how you view home protection or home security in your personal home and also as a country, right? And so this idea that the themes around border issues, that's going to be a big theme over and over and over again in politics talk as we enter the election time. And also, interestingly, Mars is in Cancer now, September 4th through November 3rd, 4th, depending on your time zone. So November 3rd, 4th is election, like prime time, you know? Mars is going to move into Leo, right? Do you know that both Trump and Kamala have Leo Marses? I'm just double looking at my charts. Yeah, Leo and Mars for both of these candidates. Um, so Trump's is in his 12th house, Kamala's is in her third house. I think it'll be, we should explore that further. I just wanted to throw that out there because it seems like a very interesting time for Mars to be moving into Leo. Both of these candidates have natal Leo Marses. So, do you want to talk about that? Let me know. Mars in Cancer, right, for September until the election. That is like, notice people's body language. Sometimes they're having a hard time sharing their feelings or saying what they really mean. They might not be in touch with their feelings. There can be some agitation. There can be a need to pause when agitated. There can be a need to use your Cancer energy to have a little retreat, to back up and say, ooh, I'm noticing that I'm feeling a little heated around that. Could we give it just a couple hours or a couple days and revisit it? Because it sounds like it's really important to you. Um, yeah, so alone time to recharge while Mars is in Cancer. I want to point out that Mercury will move into Virgo and then Libra. Let's make sure. Yeah, Mercury in September starts at 22 degrees of Leo. It will enter Virgo on September 9th, and then it will enter Libra on September 26th. So Mercury is making its way through Leo, Virgo, and Libra. Um, Mercury is the planet that we look to for how we think, how we learn, how we process information, how we speak to one another, right? And so if you have children who are having learning disabilities, maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. Maybe their Mercury is completely different than their teachers or yours, right? When I have students that have Mercury and Earth signs, I know that they're going to need a little bit more time to digest the information, right, than some of the fire sign Mercuries, for example. Mercury's in water signs. I know that they're going to get my vibe. They're going to be a little bit more intuitive. They're going to be creative with their interpretations. And so Mercury air signs, right? That's a very quick-witted person that can make jokes quickly, that has high intelligence. Every Mercury sign is smart and has high intelligence. They just learn at different paces and different ways. Some through humor, right? Some through physical experience. So just I want to point that out. So Mercury is moving from Leo, right, the heart-centered leader, into Virgo, details, right, analysis paralysis sometimes, and then Libra, where we're really concerned about what's fair and right and good and honest. And so that's going to be happening in the month of September. I also want to point out that Venus, so Mercury rules like the mind, the nervous system, Venus rules the heart, how we love each other, our love language, our relationships. It can rule the women in your life. It can represent our creature comforts too, our material possessions, things that we need to feel safe and secure in a way. Venus is moving through Libra, where she's very happy to be. She starts at 3 degrees of Libra, enters Scorpio with a challenge on September 22nd, and then ends in 9 degrees of Scorpio. So Venus and Scorpio, right? That's a challenging placement. I'm gonna scroll ahead in our forecast to talk about that, and then I'm gonna back up and do the eclipse last because that's like the exclamation point. So Venus is going to square Pluto before entering Scorpio, and this is right around equinox time. So equinox, what does that mean? The sun enters Libra. This is one of the cross quarter points of the year, the changing times for the harvest season, right? And so the sun in Libra, seasons change. And as the season is changing, you want to bring in the natural elements that go with the sun in Libra. These are things like rose quartz and apple flavored things, juniper, cherry sunflowers. My favorite color of sunflower is those big dark red brown cherry sunflowers. And thyme, the herb, the spice thyme. The sun in Libra is like that balance restoration period. So it's, while we're having the season shift, Venus is squaring Pluto, right? Intensity, breakdowns, breakthroughs. Um, and then we'll enter Scorpio. So Venus will be in Scorpio September 23rd through October 17th. Um, right? This could mean a lot of things. Venus in Scorpio, finances, power, things that need a little love and attention that are at more depth. Life takes on a deeper meaning. Scorpio is regenerative and transformative, and so maybe you're changing the way that you love each other. Maybe you're changing the way that you love your higher power. Maybe you're changing something big about your resources, your power source. That's Scorpio. So that's, I don't know, that's a biggie to me. Um, okay, now painfully, painfully avoiding talking about all of the minutia and going back into the September 17th full moon lunar south node eclipse in Pisces. All right. This is a power outage, right? The south node. So I want you to guys, if you guys are studying eclipses, get Judith Hill's book. It's the best on eclipses that I've found. Eclipses in You. And so, right, there are four main types of eclipses. There's north node, south node, lunar, solar. So a solar north node. I'm not going to go into an eclipse training. I almost went there. Like my Virgo midheaven wants to teach about eclipses. This one on September 17th is a full moon lunar south node eclipse at Pisces, which dissolves, dissipates, power outage, right? Power outage with spices. um, that's cute. Spicy things. So, all right. This is part of a cycle that started back in March of 2023. So what was going on for you March 21st of 2023? This is a time when more is being illuminated based on something that was stirring up for you then. Where is 25 degrees Pisces in your chart? You know, do you have a planet there? Do you have a planet at 25 Virgo, the opposite? This is going to show you what isn't working, what's already weak in your system is going to break down, right? So that could be something going on in your health, because I'm not a doctor, okay? I'm not giving you medical advice. This is for entertainment purposes only, but Virgo and Pisces rule that health spectrum from physical health to mental health. This is often called a psychiatric situation when we have a South Node lunar eclipse in Pisces, right? It can really dissipate. This can be when people get a little nutso out there. So, you know, trying to be patient through these changing times and also focusing on your health, building your health up until we get to that point. But if something isn't working, it's going to go ahead and break down. So that could be something going on, right? I don't know. Is this in your seventh house of relationship? Is it in your fourth house of home and family? Is it in your 11th house of groups and networks, and your friends need to change, or you're outgrowing them spiritually? Like, really depends on the house placement, how this is going to occur for you. And if there's a planet there, that's even more. That like takes precedence over everything. Okay, so the lunar eclipse in Pisces, I thought I would read to you some of the themes here. Um, Here it is. So I'm reading from Judith's book. She says a lunar eclipse in Pisces vary because the resultant power surge or outage will also be strongly felt in the opposite sign, which is Virgo, right? So Virgo themes are activated too. This is stuff like data and preparedness, sanitation, public health, service workers, unions, farm animals, poultry, bees, right? Farming. Okay, so it's in Pisces, which is a water sign. So she's also reminding us it can activate mudslides. It can activate heavy rains, employment rates. Right, all of you can see some of this happening in the election forecast. Unemployment rates, administration, social services, veterinarians, psychologists, sweatshops, and rodents. Okay, so rodents. But guys, anybody taking medication at this time, just be super careful. This is not the right time to gamble with drugs or alcohol or pollutants or chemicals or toxins in any way, shape, or form. They have a stronger effect than normal during an eclipse time. Please also know that your eclipse moment can happen 90 days before the actual eclipse. So you're not scared of September 17th, right? You're not scared of anything. You're just aware of the weather, and you're going to be like, aha, that was my eclipse moment. So what else does she say about Pisces here? Right? Of course, Pisces is the natural ruler of the 12th house. So things like prisons, sanctuaries, ashrams, places where you're hidden away or wear uniforms. She says depression, suicide, dependent or disabled people, the extreme elderly, wasting diseases, mysteries. Christianity, ruled by Pisces, we see a huge awakening happening, right? I myself am back in the church. There's a huge movement going on with Christianity, and you're going to see that, right? So, did your eclipse moment happen 90 days somewhere in that spectrum before September 17th? Pisces also rules acts of kindness and charity, shipping, sailing, the music industry, romance, mystery movies. But think about the water stuff too, like mold, fungus, issues with flooding, pipes. She also says rodent outbreaks here again. Um, Pisces is ruled by Neptune. So if you think about the Neptune things too, like crude oil, oil companies, right? So Pisces rules sleep and dream. So this can be a sloppy eclipse in her words. So really strong time for prayer, time out, spiritual practices, and boundaries, right? What's so cool about this book, y'all, too, is that she goes into the personal effects by sign. So we could look like, okay, what is this? What is a Pisces in eclipse for Libra, for Scorpio, for whoever? And it gives you a little bit more to play with than some of the other ones that I've seen. I'm doing 2025 forecasts for individual people right now because I need that much time to get through the charts. So if this interests you, I absolutely included this, and I do a whole eclipse section right at the beginning of your reading, so you know how the 2025 eclipses will affect you. And I think it's going to be a really powerful, interesting year, especially for health and public health. So this eclipse mimics that, right? Those themes, Pisces, Virgo, spectrum. I think I had more to say about it, but I ran out of steam. So I think that's all I'm going to say for September, guys. What a month. What an interesting month. Again, I'm Tiffany Harelik. My YouTube platform offers astrology training for spiritual development students, people that want to learn astrology and psychic development. I appreciate it. If I'm the right teacher for you, great. I would love to work together. I offer a spiritual development membership. It's $29 a month, and we do private members workshops and special readings and things for all of our members. So I'm really excited about the people in our community. So many cool people coming together to learn how to read the language of the skies, and in a way that is really activating, your spiritual gifts and your spiritual senses. We were all born with senses that are physical, that extend out into the metaphysical, and I love teaching you how to do that. I love talking about astrology. I love looking at the forecast, and above all, don't use this information against yourself or to be scared. This is just the weather, right? This is just the weather, and you have free will. So I look forward to hearing your feedback in the comments, and thank you for being here. Until we can work together again, I'm Tiffany, and namaste.